Hey, this is Matt. Once again, welcome back to another video. And this is a paid request for Steven. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal, usually the best bet, or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. Either over there or over there in the info box. But today we're talking about Passenger 57. Now, this is a film that, believe it or not, when I first saw it back in the day, I wasn't really big on it, but throughout the years the film has grown on me, and watching it again, I do like the film. It's a fun movie. It's a very short film, pretty fast-paced film. It's an hour and 20 minutes. That's without the credits. Wesley Snipes is great in it. This is definitely, I would say, not his breakout role, but kind of the role that was cementing him as a box office attraction, at least for a small bit of time. Or at least the ability to star in a bunch of films afterwards. Because while he had been in films like New Jack City, he was in Major League, among other films, this film was a good-sized hit. And then you had White Men Can't Jump. So like, wow, this guy can be an action lead, and then this guy can do comedy. And then Passenger 57 showed that he could do martial arts. In fact, I don't even know if people before this new Wesley Snipes were into martial arts. Then they see this and go, what the hell? Damn, Wesley. You do this and this, and he's really good, really fast, really crisp. And then later you receive a bit of that Demolition Man, and of course Blade and Blade 2. Other films as well, Money Train, which did not do well, but I think that's a fun film. The Art of War, that didn't do the best. Although I guess it did money, I don't know, home video, or because they did two sequels, one with Wesley and one without. So there you go. So maybe it did better than I thought or something. I don't know what the deal with that was. Sadly, with Wesley's ego, you've all heard the stories about Blake Trinity and his supposed behavior on set. Great, I don't think David Goyer helped the situation, but Wesley Snipes is not innocent in it as well. That, diminishing box office returns for films like Blade Trinity, again, Money Train didn't do that well. The Art of War was not this, it wasn't some big breakout hit. And then its tax problems, going to jail for a few years, kind of killed his career. Granted, he has come back, he's done a couple things. He was in Expendables 3. He was in My Name is Dolomite, which is a fun Eddie Murphy film. Oh, I mean, Dolomite is My Name. Sorry. Got the title, but Dolomite is My Name. He was in Coming to America 2, which I'm sure he did that as a favor for Eddie Murphy, because, hey, we worked together on the Dolomite movie, but Coming to America 2 was awful. So he's done a couple things here and there. There's all these rumors they'll bring him back as Blade, which I don't even know if that would even be a good idea. Although I know they're still trying to do that new Blade film that every other week goes to a different director. But anyway, this film is directed by Kevin Hooks, who did a couple films afterward, including Black Dog with Patrick Swayze, which is another film I don't mind. Within the cast, Wesley is the star, but you got Bruce Payne as the villain, Charles Rain, which I remember back in the day I was always getting him and Julian Sands confused. I mean, okay, no, that's not the Warlock. This is someone else. And Bruce Payne, I've enjoyed in other films. He was in, I think he was in the Dolph Lundgren film Sweepers. I think he was the bad guy in that. Full Eclipse, the Mario Van Peebles werewolf film, where it's like this elite group of cops and you find out they're werewolves, and then Mario is with the group and then finds out what's really going on, tries to take the group down. That was directed by Anthony Hitchcock, may he rest in peace, who did Watchword 2. That's a fun werewolf movie, Full Eclipse. But Bruce Payne is having a lot of fun as the bad guy. He's so slimy, he's so conniving, and he's chewing up the scenery, but in a very entertaining manner. Whether early on he's trying to get surgery to change his face, there's a chase scene, he almost outrunning the cops, but he gets hit by a car, he gets arrested. Some psychiatrist is trying to get him the insanity plea, and he grabs the guy. He's like, I am not insane. What was it? Oh, when he's on the plane, there's a kid playing guns with him with his fingers. So Bruce Payne shows his handcuffs and goes, he's smiling that he scared the kid. So he's having a lot of fun. He's a very entertaining villain. Tom Sizemore is also in the film. May he rest in peace. He's pretty much Wesley Snipes' buddy. Sadly, he doesn't get to do a whole lot. He's not in on the action a whole lot. He's pretty much Wesley Snipes' character. The love of his life had passed away a while ago during a robbery where the guy killed his girlfriend, but then Wesley got the guy, and that's why he kind of stepped away from being a cop. And at this point, at the beginning of the film, he's training a flight attendant. The same flight attendant, of course, that he's going to see later on the plane. And the plot of the film is, again, Tom Sizemore gets him a job. He gets on a plane. He's passenger 57, as the title suggests. Meanwhile, and granted, they do mention this in the film, that Bruce Payne hijacks planes and is a terrorist. And yet, to get him from point A to point B, they put him on a plane. Like, why would you put an airline hijacker on a plane? But they do mention that in dialogue, but they don't answer the question. So it's like they know it's a stupid idea. They mention it in a way that, yeah, it's a stupid idea, but they don't explain like why that came to be. But I guess you either go with it or you don't. I went with it. Oh, another familiar face. The second command to Bruce Payne is Elizabeth Hurley. She would, of course, later be in Austin Powers, among a few other films. And, I mean, it's not the most original, but for 90s fare, it's entertaining stuff. I keep saying that because it gets right into it, it's competently made, it's fairly well paced, for the most part, because you're really getting on, here's the villain, there's a chase scene, here's Wesley, we set up his character. Wesley's a good lead. He's got the look, he's got the charisma, and of course when the action happens, he's got the skills. He could play serious well, he could play humor well, so he's definitely a very good leading man for this type of film. And then when the action hits, whether he's taking a guy out in the bathroom with kicks and knees and getting the guy's head in the toilet, or this guy with a knife where they're going back and forth, he has very crisp, fast moves and good kicks and punches to really take guys down. You tell he studied for a while in martial arts. There's the great line, you ever play roulette? On occasion. It's a piece of advice. Always bet on black. Which is a great line, to the point they knew it, and that's why they put it in the trailer. Which apparently Wesley Snipes at first thought the line was corny. I guess because he never played roulette, so he's like, oh, they're saying this because I'm black. It's like, no, because, roulette, there's red and black chips, and there's black chip, and... Which I'm surprised he would not know that. I mean, even as a kid, I knew that. Granted, because I saw a lot of movies that had that, but you would think, I don't know. But yeah, he saw that how many people loved the line and thought it was such a great line, which it is. And it works very well for the movie. I forget the actress's name that plays the flight attendant. she did a nice job where she wasn't irritating or annoying. She wasn't out of place. She wasn't aggravating. She held her own. I think what it is, like when I first saw this, I was enjoying the film, and then there's a section when, okay, the plane's gonna land. I'm sitting there going, damn, we're leaving the plane already? It feels like the movie's barely started. Or at least like we're halfway through the film, we're going off the plane now? You know, it's like the advertising and it's passenger 57. Like maybe the last 10 minutes or so, but already? I think that section, if there's anything that bothers me about the movie, it's the least interesting part of it. I think when it's on the plane, it works very well. Maybe because the setting is claustrophobic, there's not many places to go. That's where most of the fights happen, is on the plane. Again, when he's fighting the knife guy, or he fights the guy in the bathroom. Even later on, he fights a guy with a golf club. And like I said, any of the fun fights, which there are not a ton. You know, there's a couple, but when they happen, again, it shows Wesley steals fairly well. But pretty much when they land, it's, these dumpling cops being complete tools and morons. It's the other cops kind of fiddling around, trying to talk to Bruce Payne, trying to figure out what to do. It's Wesley Snipes dead there, warning them. And of course, the redneck cops don't believe Wesley. So Wesley has to beat up the two cops and get away. The crooks let some hostages go, but they go into the fairground. And the action in that section is really, it's not really that interesting. Again, the spoilers, starting out spoilers. Should have said that earlier, but also it's a 1992 film, so. Really, of the action, it's like, okay, he goes up high, a guy goes up high, he kicks the guy off. Not a bad stunt. I think they put it in the trailer. He gets chased into a carousel. He jumps out, grabs Bruce Payne, captures him. Bruce says, listen, you let me go, or the rest of the passengers on the plane get killed. While they're doing that, there's a sniper. Wesley's able to go and shoot the sniper. So, like, it's okay. It's not, like, bad or anything. It's just not as intriguing or not as interesting compared to what's on the plane. Like, maybe if it was, like, Tom Sizemore gets there, it's the two of them, and maybe it's like, you think, oh, well, Sizemore's going to die because he's the bud, he's not the star, and, oh, he's not the fighter, and it's Tom, but maybe he comes across a guy, and at first the guy's beat up Tom Sizemore, but then Tom Sizemore, you realize that he's a boxer, and he's kicked the guy's ass, but he's much more different than Wesley. He's much more of a brawler, so he's much more brutal. He's slamming the guy's head, or biting his nose, or kicking him in the nuts or something. And like Sizemore gets on the action with Wesley, and maybe there's like one or two other bad guys. And they have like a little bit of a buddy cop thing at that moment in that section in the film. But no, when it gets back on it's like the movie kind of stops, and then when it gets back on the plane, it starts up again. I think that's what bothered me the first and second time I watched the film. But by the third and fourth, I'm like, you know what? Still, it's 80 minutes long. And like I said, the villain is fun. Wesley's a great lead. He's in his prime. The fights, they're few and far in between, but when they're there, they're entertaining enough. And like I say, it's such a short film that it's really harmless at the end of the day. It does play is it predictable? Sure. Him and the flight attendant going to get together. They walk away together by the end of the film. In a way, almost Made me think of Die Hard 2, where you had the cop that gave him grief, like Dennis Franz in Die Hard 2. And then you have the couple get away. Here you have the cop who's giving Wesley a hard time, offering him a ride. And then these two, our two leads, walk away. Although I think Die Hard 2 I like more than this. So while it's not my favorite Wesley Snipes film, Demolition Man, Blade 1 and 2 I would put above it. White Man Can't Jump I will put above it. I don't know, maybe this would be in my top 5 Wesley movies. I'd have to think about that for a bit. Just again, Demolition Man, Blade 2, Blade 1, White Man Can't Jump. I mean, maybe Major League I like more than this, but I'm thinking like ones where Wesley's very primary focus. Maybe this be top 5, maybe. But it's a fun film. I keep mentioning that because that's what its purpose is for. Fun escapism. It's not up there with Die Hard or Commando or the first 4 Rambo films for me or anything of the sort. But like I said, it was a good vehicle for Wesley to show his skills, show he can lead a movie, he could be an action star, and be very believable. Short film, good hero, good villain, couple of fun fights. Not a whole lot of explosions. It is not too explosive a movie. I guess as you think this type of film, I don't know, there'd be an explosion somewhere, but I'm surprised there isn't. Now that I think about it, I can't think of one explosion in the film, which is surprising for a 90s action film to not have one explosion. Even The Perfect Weapon, you have the bit where Jeff Speedman throws the thing and Professor Toro Tanaka explodes. Even that you have it, so maybe that would have helped on the fairground, like a few explosions or something put in there. Like I say, that's really one of my few issues, is that section when they're off the plane is the least bit interesting. It's the less intriguing part of the film. But overall, like I said, fun movie. Nice to see this again. After, it's been a few years since I've seen it. So, good, easy watch. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.